So I'm going to hit record now just so that I don't forget to do it when it matters. So yes, if you've got any questions on this topic and you want to sort of type them in now, just so that I know, what you're thinking, how you're feeling about this subject that we're talking about, how to sell 10K by Christmas, then please feel free to pop any questions in the chat box and I will be able to stop, take a breather and come to those questions and get them answered for you. If I ignore them, it's probably because I'm about to answer them. So Judy wants to know how to do it. Okay, you're in the right place, Judy, because I am going to show you how to do it. In fact, I'm actually going to show you how to do more than 10K. So yes, lots of lovely Christmas presents in all of your houses, hopefully. So yes, shall we begin? Because it is 1 minute past 7. We had a start time of 7. There is no point delaying. Anybody that's late can catch up. So I'm going to share my screen now, and then we'll see whether I still get to see the chat fully, which hopefully I should. Perfect. Yes. So I can now see, how many participants I've got. I can see the chat. There's also a Q&A box, but actually what I would prefer you guys to do is to use the chat, if that's okay, just because it's easier for me to keep an eye on the chat than it is the Q&A. And obviously the Q&A box gives me the option to type a question back to you. Well, I don't want to sit here typing at you. I'm here to talk with you. So yeah, any questions that you've got, pop them in the chat box rather than a Q&A. So first things first, if you guys could let me know that you can now see a screen with a slide on it saying sell 10K by Christmas and a lovely cheesy picture of me smiling at my laptop. Can you guys see that? I hope you can. Yes, you can. Fantastic. So I think we've just had some new people join. I think have we got Tammy? Did I just see Lorraine come in? Hello, ladies. Lovely to have you here with me. Just so that you know, those people that have just joined, I can see the chat box and I can see the number of people that we've got. And unless you ask me a question, I can't see anything else. I can't see your camera. I can't see anything. Only you can see me, probably in a little box, and you can see my slide. So welcome. I'm going to get stuck into the detail now because you guys are eagerly awaiting how to sell 10K by Christmas. You are giving up your evenings if you're in the UK, and if you're somewhere else in the world, you are giving up a morning or an afternoon to spend an hour with me. And so I'm going to get stuck in. So I'm going to tell you how to sell 10K by Christmas. What I'm actually going to share with you is a little bit of a detail and a framework about how to make those sales, but I'm also going to share a revenue calculator on the screen. So it will allow us to create maybe some scenarios. So we can look at the scenario that I've prepared, but we could then punch in some live numbers and see what that does to our 10K, because what it could actually do is push it way above 10K. And I know what I'm going to share with you is going to make it look easy. And by the end, you're going to say, yeah, but Rachel, can it really be that easy? So if you have questions around that, that is hopefully I'm going to finish a bit earlier so that we can get into some Q&A on that. So let's get in and stop me talking about the title. So for those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm Rachel. You can see that on the screen. I live in the southwest of the UK. I have been a business owner for just shy of 5 years now. I run a training company as well as the MySalesMentor brand, which is a brand that works with entrepreneurs one-to-one, specifically coaches, consultants, trainers, people that sell their time by the hour, sell services by the hour. And I work with them to help them to maximize their time, to avoid the conundrum of selling time for money, because obviously if you sell time for money, there is instantly a ceiling on your business potential, because there are so many hours in a week and you can't sell inventory that you don't have. So just the same as a shopkeeper only has so many shelves and so many floors to the shop and can only fit so many products in, if you sell your time for money, there is only so many hours in the day, in the week, in the month. And so I help entrepreneurs now to package their services in a way that allows them to make passive income so that they get to wake up to orders rather than just selling purely their time for money. I've had a long background in sales, 25 years in sales to be precise. Most of those years were spent in the corporate world. And now obviously the last 5, I've been selling myself, selling my personality, selling my services, selling my business, and selling the services of my team. So I come at sales from many angles, from the corporate angle and also from the entrepreneurial angle, which is what you guys are here for today. So without further ado, the coaching sector. Let's start by looking at the coaching sector. There are many, many pros. That's why we're here. That's why we work in the coaching sector. But there are also some cons. So the pros are that it's fast growing. Did you know that coaching is one of the fastest growing sectors right now in the world? So a lot of people find coaching a very attractive job to do for themselves because of the, some of the other things that we're going to talk about. It's very rewarding. That's one of the reasons that we love doing it. It's very rewarding work. It's also a low investment business to start. You don't need to spend out lots of money to start a coaching business. If you want to get qualified and that you want to go and get a recognized qualification, that can set you back probably a couple of thousand, maybe more, but you don't have to be qualified in those areas, so you can just start. And so that's one of the reasons why it is the fastest growing sector, one of the fastest growing sectors. The other reason is that you're helping people with their personal growth. So that makes it a really great job to do because you get to see your clients enjoy your services, the light bulb comes on, they transform either their business or their mindset or their performance, whatever it is that they're looking to shift. And so those things combined make coaching a very attractive business to start as an entrepreneur. However, when you look at the cons, the fact that it's very fast growing at the moment means we're in a crowded market. And when you're in a crowded market, it's obviously hard to stand out. Then the other cons that I've put there are actually the same as the pros, because the fact that it's rewarding is also a con, because it means there are a lot of people looking to do that work because it's rewarding. The fact that it's low investment is also a con, because it means that there are a lot of coaches out there who say, oh, I just need a laptop and a phone and the ability to say that I can follow a coaching process. Yeah, I can do that. So that low investment level means that there are a lot of people out there doing it, trying to cut through the noise, trying to stand out. And that makes it tricky. And obviously the personal growth is also a con because of its attractiveness. It's like moth to a flame. People like doing this work, which means that if you are trying to cut through the noise, it's getting more and more and more difficult to cut through the noise. So I thought I'd just start by setting the scene with those facts. And if you guys have got any comments on that, you agree with me, you disagree with me, please, post it in the chat and we can get some discussion going, amongst you guys. So that leads me on to this problem that we've got of standing out, because if we're going to sell 10K by Christmas, we're not going to sell that from the shadows. We have to stand out. And so, what does that actually mean? In trying to stand out, we're pushing out content, possibly sometimes with crossed fingers and toes, hoping that post that we just put out on social media or that blog that we've just written will be the blog that leads to an inquiry, will be the post that leads to an influx of people booking discovery calls. So trying to stand out, there's a lot of content being pushed out there, but once it's pushed out there, all we've got is hope that it's going to bring in an inquiry. In looking at all the content that's out there in this crowded marketplace, we run the risk of imposter syndrome. So, hands up or post in the chat, have you ever suffered with imposter syndrome as a coach? It is a massively common thing because we're always looking at each other's content, and you always look and think, oh, are they making more money than me? Their content is better than mine. Have they written a better blog than me? And it's really, really tricky because you want to watch and learn, But in doing the watching and learning, you're also then absorbing it all and internalizing it all and thinking, oh, am I the only one who hasn't got an inquiry today? Everybody else looks super successful, and I'm not feeling like I'm maybe in their league. And we all think that it's the grass is greener on the other side, and actually everybody's feeling the same. So I thought it was worth just touching on that. I've just had somebody raise a hand, so let me just make sure I'm dealing with that. Oh, Tammy, you've got a raised hand. Have you got a question? Oh, we've got another raised hand. What seems to be the problem with our raised hands? Can somebody pop something in the chat for me so that I know why we've got some raised hands? Have we got any problems, or are you agreeing with me? Maybe you're agreeing with me and that's why you're saying, yes, Rachel, that's me, which is good because I know you're with me and I know that we're on the right track together. So yeah, imposter syndrome. It's a big deal, especially in the coaching, consulting and training world, because we're writing content, we're pushing it out there, and therefore we're bearing ourselves, we're bearing our souls in our content, but also then other people get to see and read and dig into our content. And so imposter syndrome can be a massive deal. Thank you, Tammy. And now I know why the hand was there. That's cool. And then that last point, is everybody making more money than me? It's easy to look at other people and think that they might be more successful than we are. And generally, I would say that isn't the case. So there are some people in the coaching sector that are multi-millionaires. You see the ads, don't you, pop up on Facebook. And again, that makes us think, oh, what are they doing? How are they doing that? Well, we're going to dip into how, okay, tonight. So let's move on. Hopefully everybody's with me. So here's a sort of saying I find myself saying quite a lot. In a sector where success equals less work, our sales pipeline is critical. Okay, I'll say that again. In a sector, the coaching sector, where success, us doing a good job, means we get less work, our sales pipeline is critical. So what I mean by that is, if we do a good job with our clients come to us with a big goal, a big outcome, a success goal that they want to achieve. And our job as coaches is to help them get there. It's to help them achieve their goal. But of course, once they've achieved their goal, they don't have that goal anymore. And so the client that was a client ends up being a happy, satisfied client who's met their goal, but we don't coach forever. We can't coach them for the rest of their life. So that means that our sales pipeline has always got to be being built, because as those coaching programs and those training programs come to an end, we need new clients, fresh clients with new goals, new aspirations to come in and want to work with us. So I'm going to give you a framework that allows for the momentum of that cycle to just keep moving while you're working. It will work without you, basically. So our sales pipeline is absolutely critical. And so we're talking about Christmas. We're talking about selling 10K by Christmas. On Tuesday is the 1st of September. So we're talking about September, October, November, December. We're talking about 4 months, selling 10K in 4 months from a standing start. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So today is, day one, and success will be by Christmas, the 25th of December, we will have sold 10K. Now, what I'm going to do to demonstrate this is I'm going to select some numbers to demonstrate the point, just so that you can all follow the maths, because I'm sorry to say there is some maths in this. So based on a conversion rate of 33% or 1 in 3, so we will close 1 sale for every 3 prospects we speak to, we don't ever need to aim for 10K. And that is mistake number 1 that I see businesses of all shapes and sizes, from PLCs right down to micro businesses. The biggest mistake is they set a revenue target and they aim to hit that revenue target. That is never going to achieve success, because I've been in sales for 25 years and I've hired some amazing salespeople. In my old career, I had to hire salespeople that earned more money than I did, and I was their manager, and we paid them that well because they were that good at their job. They were amazing, amazing salespeople. But I've never met a single salesperson who closes 100% of their pitches, of their sales, of their attempts at selling. Nobody, you know, and I say, oh, I know about sales, I train people to sell. I don't close 100% of my sales pitches. Nobody closes 100% of their sales pitches. So one of the toughest things about sales and being good at selling is you have to be prepared to fail. You have to be prepared to take the learning from the failure, from the why did that customer who I thought was going to buy, why did they not buy? And you have to be prepared to unpick that and take the learning from it so that you can adapt and change the next time you make a pitch for that service, for example. So the biggest thing about salespeople is their resilience, their tenacity. They are able and willing to fail, because usually they know that I'm just not going to win every sale, and I accept that. But you have to set every sale up as though you are going to win it, even though you know that not every sale you're going to get over the line. So your sales revenue target should always be based on your own conversion rate. So in this example, I've used a conversion rate of 33%, 1 in 3. So for every 10 sales pitches I do, I'm going to make 3 sales. So if anybody wants me to go back over that, please let me know in the chat. But I'll assume that you're all with me in that your revenue target, therefore, can never be just 10K. It has to be 30K, because you're only going to close 1 in 3. Therefore, your revenue target needs to account for that to happen. So you're going to pitch 30K's worth of business, and you're going to get turned down for 20K of that. And therefore you'll get left with the 10 that you go to the bank with before Christmas. Okay. Sound everybody with me? I hope so. So now I guess what you're thinking is, she told us that she's going to tell us how to sell 10K. Now she's telling us we've got a plan to sell 30K. Is this woman absolutely nuts? Well, I'm not nuts. I am planning for you to win. And to plan for you to win, you have to treble the revenue target, because 20K of it is not happening. Okay. So I hope that you're with me on that. So that is the number that we're now going to take forward for the rest of the session. We're going to aim for 30K, knowing that 10 of it is what we're going to end up with. So I'm going to introduce you to something that I call my FAST method. And this is what I mean by sales that happen without you, a sales pipeline that can build exclusive to your efforts. I'm just going to have a sip of my drink. Okay, so you can see the starting point for the FAST method is to find the right type of client. Now that can sometimes be easier said than done, because take me, for example. If I'm looking for entrepreneurs to work with me to grow their business, then I first need to find out people who are not happy with the level of growth already. Well, not everybody walks around saying, oh, I'm not happy with my level of growth. Not everybody walks around doing that. Everybody walks around and posts and shares success stories. So how do I find my ideal client if I'm looking for people that feel like they're not achieving their full potential? And you might be the same. You know, your ideal type of client might not share openly how they really feel, because often people don't do that. So if you're a mindset coach and you're looking for people who want to change their mindset, nobody walks around saying, hey, I want to change my mindset. We don't walk around with little radars or flags on us to help us as salespeople, as entrepreneurs, to spot our audience. So sometimes finding our ideal client can be quite tricky. We need to put ourselves in the places where they are. Wherever they are is where we need to be. So using social media as an example, if your ideal client, you know, is on LinkedIn every day, then guess where you need to be? You need to be on LinkedIn every day. If your ideal client is on Instagram every day, and they are, you know, they're there obviously trying to do their own job. They're posting stories and posts, but that's where they are. Well, then that's where you need to be. If your ideal client goes to a conference in November, well, you need to be booking a ticket to that conference, because if that's where they are, that's where we need to be. So the first step is finding the clients. Now, some of you may or may not be on Facebook. Love or hate Facebook, love or hate Facebook groups, they are really good hunting ground for your ideal client, because there are a lot of Facebook groups out there, and they're usually labeled in a way that allows you to spot who might be in the group. So there's a group, for example, at the moment that I'm in, which is a group for female introverted coaches. Well, I'm female, I tick that box, and I do coaching, so I tick that box, but I'm not an introvert. But they can't test that before I get in the group. So I am in that group because I know that I can help female introverted coaches. So I am in that group. I'm not in that group to get advice for me. I'm in that group to find my ideal client. And I find them there quite frequently. So you can look on Facebook for keywords that might be or might describe your ideal client, and that is where you might find them. So, you know, if you're a financial coach, there are groups for people that want to improve their wealth, improve their finance, you know, millionaire mindset, all those things. You can search on Facebook for those types of groups, and you can find those people there. So step number one is really important, and it's important that you think really carefully about where your ideal client is, because you need to be there. The second part is, once you find where they hang out, you need a way to attract them to you. And so that's why we're posting content, isn't it, all the time, because we want to attract them. However, they don't offer themselves up freely, do they? You don't put out a post and all of a sudden the phone starts ringing off the hook with people that want to buy your services. So what I would say is this: if you really want to attract your ideal client, firstly, you need to be where they are, and then you need to be talking to them. And I would say, if you aren't setting yourself a daily target to be in the direct messages, so in the DMs, in whatever social media channel you're on, you don't need to even post. You don't even need to look at anybody else's posts. You don't need to expose your posts to your competitors or anybody else. You don't even need to do that. You can just find your ideal client and you can send them a message, and you can start building a conversation and building a relationship with them, to the point where you become so familiar and comfortable with each other, you've built a relationship, and you become very aware that they're your ideal client because you're asking them those questions. And at the beginning, you know, they'll probably be asking you questions because they're wondering if you might be a client for them too. So you're talking to each other, building a relationship, until the person that you're speaking with maybe gives it away that, actually, I'm quite interested in your services. Can you tell me more about what you do? So yes, you need to find them. Yes, you need to put good content out there because you need to build your credibility. But the attraction bit, sometimes it happens completely in private. And some of the people that you might be connected with on social media now, you might think, well, I put out so much more content than them. They don't really do anything. But they could be sending 100 direct messages a day. And out of those 100 direct messages, they could be converting 30 introductory discovery calls. And you would never see that because it all happens in private. It all happens in the direct message space of either LinkedIn, of Instagram, of Facebook. That's where it all goes on. So step two, really important, is attracting. The selling happens probably, you might jump on a call, you might jump on a Zoom like we are now. You might meet them face to face if you work in your local area. But either way, you've built a relationship, and the sale, by the time you're ready to start talking about services, the sale becomes a kind of a foregone conclusion, that really you're just exchanging, what service do you need? Why do you need it? Why is it important? Is it urgent? If it is, why now? Why wasn't it urgent last month? Why now? What is the reason that you are here talking with me about my coaching program? And so the sale sort of happens by itself in a way, because you're asking all the right questions. So I'll come to that in a little bit after I've shared the numbers, because it will probably make a bit more sense then. So step 3 is the sales phase, where you actually agree to work together. And then step 4 of the FAST method is the testimonial. So do you remember I said about 10 minutes ago that you will not win every sale? And if we aim to sell 30K's worth of business, we're only going to sell 10, and therefore 20K's worth of business is going to sail off into the sunset. Well, actually, it doesn't have to just sail off into the sunset, because what we could be doing is building a longer pipeline with those people. Maybe now isn't the right time for them. Maybe you could get a testimonial on how you've managed the relationship, or how you've presented your services, or what their perception of your services are. So you could still get a testimonial. You could still bank, take screenshots of things that they've said to you that are positive. So on your discovery call, you might share a little bit of advice that they might say to you in a message. That was so helpful. The way that you shared the FAST method with me, for example, that was really, really helpful. You need to screenshot all of those. You need to bank them, because they are your credibility. They are your social proof. They are the reason why maybe the next person might say yes to the program, because they've seen all these testimonials, all these really good reasons why you are the right person to work with. So the FAST method, it's in a circle because it's continuous. The momentum builds and builds and builds. The more you pitch, the more you'll close. The more that you don't close, that maybe keeps going around in that cycle, and maybe you contact them in 3 months or 6 months, that sort of circle is ever turning, always, always turning. The people that you work with, again, you get testimonials, and you encourage them to go out and be a brand ambassador for you. You encourage them to go out and say amazing things about the work that you've done, because that's the best marketing that we'll ever do. So I wanted to introduce you to the FAST method, because once I show you how the numbers work, you will say to me, well, how am I going to go out and do this, Rachel? Well, it's going to take some effort, and you're going to need to put each of these stages in place, each of these FAST method stages in place, in order to actually get this 10K. So who is ready to get into some real numbers? So you've probably all seen a sales funnel before. This is a typical sales funnel. This is a proven method. The FAST method, obviously I've come up with, but if you've ever done any marketing courses where they've talked about AIDA, attraction, interest, desire, and action, it's a proven method for funneling customers from a put a lot of customers in the top and gradually apply your conversion rates to the point where they fall at the bottom, and that's where you sell to them. So here I've given you the example of the FAST method. F for find your audience. Okay, we need 30K's worth of audience. The attract stage, we need to convert, attract and convert at 33% to get our 10K. So we got the sales stage, which is where our 10K happens, and the testimonial stage, which is where, whether we sell or maybe whether we don't, we try to create some free marketing out of that. Some testimonials, some social proof, some reviews, some Facebook reviews, all the good stuff that you guys are probably very aware of. So that's the FAST method in a traditional sales funnel. And then let me just make sure, yes, I've got one more slide to share with you, and then we'll get into this calculator. So the actual calculations, 30K's worth of opportunity. If we were selling, and I've made these numbers up, okay? These aren't my numbers, these might not be your numbers, but I've made them up so that we can easily work through the methodology. So if we want 30K's worth of opportunity, and we sell a one-to-one coaching package at £300, so not a lot of money, we would therefore need 100 clients. Okay, simple maths. If that is what we're planning to do, 30K's worth of opportunities, what we're trying to plan for, and we sell £300 a time, we would need to find 100 clients. That would therefore give us some questions that we need to answer. Can we fit 100 clients in? What is our capacity? How many clients per day would we need to work with? what would we actually sell to them? Is £300 what we would sell them, or would we sell them a higher price package? Likelihood is we would sell them a much higher price package. We wouldn't just sell them an hour's worth of coaching. So then you'd question, well, is that the right price? Is it the right package for them? And then obviously we would say, okay, now we've got all those questions boxed off. How are we going to actually find them? So behind the calculations, there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. So I am now going to move across my Excel sheet. Please, can somebody tell me in the chat that you can now see an Excel sheet in front of you on my screen? Oh, can you see that? Yep, thank you, Ben. Ben's fastest finger there. So here we've got, at the top, we've got the goal setting stage. Okay, so this is about setting goals and managing your capacity. So up here, let me just highlight it for you. We know we want to find 30K's worth of opportunity. We know our average price is 300, and we know that we need to therefore find 100 clients. We've done that bit. So next we move into capacity. We know that we've got September, October, November, and December to work on this. And we know that in any one of those months, on average, there are 5 working days a week and 4 working weeks a month. Therefore, we've got September, 20 days, October 20, November 20, and in December, I've said we only want to work the first 2 weeks of December, because why would we want to work any harder than that in December? That adds up to 70 days. So that's our capacity. If we did 2 clients a day, and these yellow boxes are boxes that we can key into later. If we wanted to work all 70 days at 2 clients a day, our maximum number of sessions that we could ever do would be 140. And if our average price, like we've said, is 300, I'm then asking the question, is it possible? Would our 30K be possible? Well, actually, at £300 a time with a maximum of 140 sessions, we could actually do 42,000, which compared to our goal of 30,000 means we're 12K up. So on the maths of it, yes, it's possible. It's more than possible. It's amazingly possible, which leads to the questions, do I want to work this way? And if not, what needs to change? And that's why I've built it in a calculator, because we need to forecast. Sales is purely a forecasting exercise before you get to the conversations to manage a number. And in my previous career, I hit a target of £97 million, and I did that working with a team of 60 people. And every day, those 60 people needed to have 4 meetings. That was their daily appointment target. So you can work out the maths, 4 meetings a day, 60 people, times that up over the 5 days, over the month, over the quarter, over the year. I had spreadsheet after spreadsheet that I won't fib, it was done by a data analyst, but they were working with me to help me to forecast, were we going to hit the 97 million? Were we on track? Did we have to change the strategy? It was all just about the numbers. After we knew that the numbers made it possible, that's when I would start training and working with the team on the actual sales conversations. But the first bit is always nail the numbers, okay? So that's what we're trying to do here. Now, looking at this, I would love to know from you guys in the chat box, what part of this would you not want to do, okay? While you're giving me some answers, I'm going to throw a couple of suggestions out there. The parts of this that maybe you wouldn't want to do, you wouldn't want to do coaching every single day. I'm sure that the way that we stack up our working week and our diary, we might not do coaching meetings every single day. We might keep meetings aside for planning, for networking, for learning, for lots of other things. So firstly, we would probably question, do I want to work 70 days on just coaching? And would I want to do two clients every day for those 70 days? Probably not. So those numbers need to change. Would I really want to sell everything at £300, or would I actually want to sell bigger programs, so it was a higher price program over a longer period, and therefore that number needs to change. So I've used these numbers to help you sort of get your head around the theory, but you can see already, yes, Judy, yeah, exactly. What if you haven't got the clients in place? I'm giving you this example from a standing start. So I'm not saying you can sell 10K by Christmas by using any clients that you've worked with in August or July or June. This is from a standing start, from zero. So I'm going to show you it can be done. Okay, so these numbers, we wouldn't actually want these numbers to be our forecast. So while we've got our head around those initial numbers though, before we go on to a second scenario, I want to show you how the rest of the numbers work. So up here, this is planning how to actually find and attract the clients. I'm trying to make it so that you can actually see what I'm talking through. So this first bit here, can you see I've sort of shadowed that out? This is just a summary. So the yellow boxes are the numbers that we key in. Everything else is done with a formula. We know that we're going to sell to 100 clients at an average rate of 300. We're going to change that in a minute. And our revenue goal is 30,000. And we know that we've got an expected conversion rate of 1 in 3, which is 33%. And we know that using those numbers, that gets us to our 10K, because 20K of it's not going to get over the line. And we've used a conversion rate that is very typical and very average. So we're not trying to be the best salesperson in the world. We're not being the worst. 1 in 3 is about, average. So then we've gone down, and what I'm suggesting to you is this, and we can play with these numbers. If you have a current audience, you might have them sat in an email list, or you might have across your different social media networks, you might have a social following of 2,000 and an email list of 500. So you could play around with these numbers and key them in for exactly what you have as your current audience. We're going to do that in a minute. You've then got the new audience, the people that we need to attract brand new. So you can do a number of things to do that. You might want to do a webinar like I'm doing right here now. You might want to speak to a room of people, like you might want to go public speaking to do that seminar, but you can do one-to-many lessons, webinars, teachings, whatever you want to call it. You can do one-to-many examples of your work so that you can attract a new audience. You can run an online challenge. So you'll see a lot of the online coaches selling online challenges where you get, a high volume of people to come and work with you on a 2-day, 3-day, 4-day challenge or boot camp where you share some material, not your best material, not all your material, because obviously that's the paid for service, but you give them a way of sampling your work. You might share lead magnets. So you might want to put something out onto social media to gather email addresses, so building new audience. And again, what I talked about earlier, you might want to use the direct messages. And if you aren't doing a volume of direct messages every day right now, you're missing a trick on that. So in this example, we've got a current audience of 2,500 and we've got a new audience of 210. And on our current audience, I'm applying a conversion rate of 2%. 2 out of every 100 people in my current audience, people that I have got a relationship with, people I've educated, people I've maybe already worked with, I'm only going to try to get 2% of them onto a discovery call, because firstly, I might already have worked with them. They might be in my network, but not necessarily an ideal customer. So I've used a really small conversion rate of just 2%. But I've used 25% on our new people, because if new people have signed up to a webinar, or they've seen you at a public speaking event, or a conference, or you've attracted them on a lead magnet, they're interested in you, they're interested in your message and what you've got to say. And so I've applied a 25% conversion rate to that 210, because my call to action from all of these things here, my call to action is book a discovery call with me. That is what you would be saying to them. Come and book a discovery call with me, because you've been to my webinar and now you know that I'm good at X, Y, Z, whatever your coaching transformation is, whatever your results are all about. You want to know, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, how to get that. So come and book a discovery call with me. And so the numbers I've built in are 25% would say yes to your call to action, yes, I will book a discovery call with you. Now, what that translates to, 2% of our current audience and 25% of our new audience adds up to 103 people saying yes to a discovery call. And we're going to apply our 33% conversion rate to that, meaning that we sell to 34 people at our average order value of 300, which gives us £10,250 worth of revenue. So that's the promise I made you with the title of the webinar, How to Sell 10K. That is an example of how you might sell 10K. What it isn't is the way that you would probably do it, because we already know that 300 is quite a low amount, and you might want to sell a much bigger package than that. And so you might want to play with those numbers. And also you might not have an audience of that size. And so we might need to put in some real world numbers to really make it work. So now I'm going to invite you guys to give me some numbers, and to, I'm going to go to scenario 2 and I can key stuff in. So has anybody got a number that they would like me to key in as an average price? I'm going to show you how this calculator works from scratch. So what figure would you guys like me to pop in to the average price? Whoever gets there first is what I'm putting in. I'm waiting. You're all thinking, what should I give her? Don't want to give her too high, don't want to give her too low. 3,000. Thank you, Ben. So we are going to try to sell a package of £3,000. That's quite high, Ben. There's probably some people going, God, bloody hell, what does Ben sell? But yeah, 3,000 is what we've got in there, which means to get our 30,000 worth of opportunity, we only need to sell to 10 clients. Okay, that's what the maths is telling us. So then we're going to say, so on the earlier example, I sort of suggested, because I wouldn't want to do coaching every single day. And I certainly wouldn't want to look at my whole diary between now and Christmas and know that I'm going to do two coaching clients every single day. So I'm going to say, I want to be a bit lazier. I want to be able to spend my time maybe on other things. And so I want to do 5 coaching days. So I want to give 5 days of my capacity in September to coaching, 5 in October, 5 in November, 5 in December, which means I'm going to allocate 20 days of my capacity to coaching. And I don't want to do, in the earlier example, I had 2 coaching clients a day. I don't want to do 4 a day. And actually I only need to sell to 10 people. So I don't even need to do that. But of course at 3,000, that's probably a package. So I'm going to say I want to do 1 a day maybe. I'm going to do 1 coaching client a day on average, which means obviously some days you could do more and other days you could do 0. And we've only said 5 days of capacity per month. So the first question is it even possible to get done what we need to get done? The answer is yes, it is, because that would allow us to do 20 sessions, 1 client a day. We know we need to do 10 clients at an average price of 3,000. Our maximum revenue, if we wanted to sell all of those spaces, all 20 sessions of the maximum at our 3,000, we could actually do 60K. So I bet you're smiling at that, Ben. You could do 60K if you used all of your capacity and you were able to maybe improve your conversion rate. So against your goal, you're actually 30K up against the 30K of opportunity that we were trying to get to. So then you would say, well, do I really want to work this way? Is this the way I want to stack up my September, October, November, December? And let's assume that you say, yeah, that looks pretty good to me. I'm happy to spend my time in that way. I'm now going to bring over the other one so that we can see it side by side. So now we can key in some other numbers. So let's say, Ben, for ease of, oh yeah, saw your comment. Cool, thank you. Let's say for the numbers that we are at a standing start. Let's say we don't have an email list and let's say we don't really have a social following, which actually most people do. So I'll just put 1,000. Oh, no, I'm in the wrong place. Rachel. Oh. There we go, back to the beginning. So let's say we have 1,000 in our social media following, because we've all got some following, haven't we? But we haven't got any email list to sell to. And we want to not do a webinar. Let's say we don't really want to do a webinar, and we don't really want to do a challenge. We might put a lead magnet out there, and that might bring us in 100 people that want to download our workbook or our fact sheet or cheat sheet or something like that. And in terms of direct messaging, yeah, we're going to do some direct messaging. We know that we need to find these 10 clients, and let's say we want to do, I don't know, let's say 50. Let me know, Ben, if this isn't reasonable. Let's say we want to do 50 direct messages a month. So in those 4 months, we might do 200. Does that sound fair enough if we did 50 a month? That's, yeah, sounds fine. Cool. Thanks, Ben. So 50 a month is more than achievable. That's not sort of stacking yourself up too much to do too many a day or a week. So in this example now, we've got 100 people that say, I want your lead magnet. I'm going to give you my email address because I'm interested in you and I want to know more about you. So 200 say, talk to us in our direct messaging. And out of those, the call to actions we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get those people onto a discovery call, which based on the conversion rates mean that we would actually get, so conversion rates to one-to-one discovery call, we wouldn't get any from current, and we might get 10% of our new audience here. So discovery calls from new, we're going to only convert 10%. So I've really reduced the conversion rate there, meaning that we would get 30 people from our new audience, standing start. 30 people is what we would get on a discovery call. And if we were really good at that discovery call, we would convert 1 in 3. We might even convert at a higher rate than that, but let's not get too excited. Let's say we did our 33%, means that we sell to 10 clients at the average order value that we set of 3,000, which means that we would actually sell 30,000. So in that example, we would do 3 times what I'd suggested that we might with the 10K. And so with that being our plan, all we've then got to do from a standing start is design a really good lead magnet and put that out there in a way that we can collect email addresses and build a really nice sequence of emails that we might put into the direct messages with people to eventually move them into a one-to-one discovery call chat with you, where you're then going to apply your other conversion rate of 1 in 3 that are actually going to buy from you. So from a standing start, it just goes to show it is absolutely possible that if you plan the numbers and you plan your time and you are relentless in your cycle of how you work and how you nurture these clients aren't suddenly going to come and run to us and say, hey, sign me up, I want to buy from you. Clients do not do that. We have to nurture the relationships, which means that we need to set ourselves the goal of communicating with these potential clients once we've found them in a way that makes them want to talk to us on a discovery call. So please, guys, I've been on my own here for ages, and I get my energy from people, so I'd much rather have you here in the room with me. But let me know, does that make sense? Do you like it? Is it, do you understand it but you don't like it? Do you understand it but you're not sure how you could put it into practice in your own world, in your own business? Please give me some feedback, give me a clue as to whether you like it or not. And while you're doing that, I will just move this out of the way and just go back to the finding and attracting. Because if I'm any good at my job and I'm any good at anticipating how you guys might feel now, you might be feeling like, okay, well, I get it. you know, it's logical, it's maths. Thank you, Lorraine, makes perfect sense. Thank you, Penny, easy to understand, and it shows how achievable it is. Yes, that is right. I like it, Claire, but bamboozled by numbers, glass of wine is to blame. Oh, Claire, my kind of girl. Yeah, that's the way to do a webinar. I've got Sprite Zero, boring, but I have got a glass of wine waiting for me out in the kitchen. Tammy, fantastic what I've been doing with my time, lovely. Love the maths, now planning the actions, fantastic. Need the spreadsheet, I knew you were going to say that. Ben, thank you, really helpful. Like the idea of talking to the funnel, yeah, absolutely. Not doing the direct messages, yeah, absolutely right. And so yes, the spreadsheet, I'm thinking of how I'm actually going to share the spreadsheet without pinging Excel sheets everywhere. So I'll probably create a Google live sheet. At the moment it isn't, but I can create a live Google sheet, and then you can play around with it and you can work it out for exactly your business, your numbers, your capacity, your time, your ambition, your way of working, because only then is it going to really come to life. Leanne, you've got a gin, amazing. So yes, you love the maths, and can you have the sheet? Of course you can have the sheet. It would be so unfair of me, wouldn't it, for me to share this and to then not give you the opportunity to actually key in some numbers yourself. That would be mean, and I'm not mean. So of course I will share it with you. So yes, I was sort of anticipating that at this point you guys might be thinking, Rachel, you've been in sales 25 years. You know, this stuff comes easy to you. Yes, you can do the numbers. We can all see the numbers, but how do we actually do it? You know, how do we go into the direct messages? How do we convert a client? You know, give us the words, give us the actual words to say. And so I wanted to finish, we're 8 minutes to the end. So you're a bit overwhelmed, Judy, bless you. I know it's a lot. There's a lot of numbers. And yes, I don't know if it would be A-level maths. It's certainly only timesing and dividing, but which my little Oliver's working on. But yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot to take in, which is why you need to probably play around with it. So that's why I'm happy to share it. So if you are feeling like, CSC grade 4, bless you. God, I can't remember doing a maths exam. It's like that long ago. So yeah, if you are feeling a little bit like, Rachel, give us the words, what would we actually say? Here are my top things to do, my top bits of advice on the finding and the attracting bit. So number one is understand your ideal client in detail. Now, often when people do an ideal client exercise, they might do a job title and a location and not much else. And actually what you need to do is go really, really, really into detail. I have a free online training course that I'm very happy to share with anybody on the call. If you want to do, it comes with a 20-minute video. If you want to do that course, I will happily share that. You can do my ideal client exercise. I give you the worksheet and you can work through it. And it takes you into detail, like what's your ideal client's communication style? What devices do they use? Laptop, mobile? How do they engage with? Oh, thank you, Leanne. You've already done it, haven't you? Bless you. Glad it was helpful. So yes, if you want to do that, I'm happy to share that. But when I say in detail, you need to know the language that your customer would use. So if your ideal customer was in front of you and you said to them, if I could wave a magic wand for you and suddenly make your life different, mindset different, performance different, whatever type of coach you are, however that question would sound, if I could wave a magic wand for you, what would you wish for? And what I would suggest you do is you write down, what would your client say? What would your ideal client say? If you had them there in front of you, what words would they use? How would they actually articulate what they need? Because the words that they would use are the words that you also need to use. And quite often when people are selling, they use their own language. They use the words that they would use, the words that they've come up with when they've designed their products and their packaging and their services. And that isn't what the client would resonate with. The client resonates with their problem. The client never cares about you or your service. They care about what it will do for them. So getting into their mindset and understanding the language that they would use helps you to use the right language when you go into the direct messages. Okay. Penny, you did a three-page sheet and then created 50 questions that they would ask. Fantastic. So you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say get into it in detail, because you do need to know what words they would use. Okay, so talk their language. That's point 2. It's so important. And if you haven't done it since COVID, then I would say, even if you feel that you've done it before, do it again, because COVID's changed the game. People might be thinking and feeling in different ways. And so it's worth revisiting that exercise with COVID in mind, thinking about, has your ideal customer had to pivot their business? If they have, in what ways might they have done it? Why have they done it? How is life different for them? So yeah, if you haven't done it since COVID, I would definitely say it's worth an hour of your time to really sit and focus on your ideal client and what language they would use. The other bit that is key is the daily sales activity. You know, all right, I say daily, it doesn't have to be necessarily every day, but it does need to be probably 3 days a week. There needs to be at least part of your day allocated to selling. And you know, I've been running my business now for 5 years. So all the different companies I've worked with marketing companies, with law firms, with construction firms, with recruitment companies, with printers, with different manufacturing companies. So massive spread of sectors. But the one thing when it comes to, you know, Rachel, come and help us with our sales, the one thing they all have in common when I look at their sales results is they don't do enough sales activity. People are very quick to say, I don't get the results that I want. It's easy to feel like, oh, I don't get the sales results that I want. But actually, you've got to do the activity. You've got to do the conversations, have the conversations, nurture the relationships, and do it very, very regularly. Be reliable. Because if you're reliable in the DMs and you're reliable at showing up, then the client already knows that you're a reliable person to work with. If they're replying to your message and you don't reply for a week because you're not doing your business development activity, well, then you're already showing them that you might not be reliable as somebody to work with. So you need to be showing up like really, really regularly and answering any questions that they come back with. So those relationships do take time, but you need to do daily sales activity. The other thing, stay in your lane. Don't worry about other people. Don't worry about what they're doing. So we talked at the beginning about imposter syndrome. Who cares about them? Stay in your lane. Do not look left or right. Don't care about the other lanes. Focus on your lane, your numbers, your plan, your outcomes. They can just do whatever they want to do, but you need to focus on what you need to focus on. Okay? Next bit is build genuine connections, like proper connections. And so, you know, I've been doing a lot of DMs in my new brand, SalesMentor, and there's a lot of people that use bots or like automated messages. You can spot them a mile off. So little old me comes along with my genuine, hey, tell me all about you. You know, my first question is always, tell me about you, tell me about your business, how long have you been doing it? You know, tell me everything. I want to get to know you. And I'm very genuine in the way that I do that. I'm a people person. I love meeting new people. And so, you know, I hit them with about 3 or 4 questions. Tell me this, tell me that. I'm excited. I want to get to know you. I can see on your profile you do this. Tell me all about it. And people like talking about themselves. So they start sharing stuff. And that gives you then more questions because you want to learn more. And then they're learning about you. And so those relationships need to be nurtured. It's never, ever a sprint. It's always a marathon. Always a marathon. And, you know, for anybody on the webinar that is a marathon runner, you know the preparation that goes into a marathon. Sales is a marathon. It's never a sprint. It's always about building trust. And if it was easy to build trust, if you could do it in the click of a finger, everybody would be amazing salespeople, wouldn't they? everybody would be selling to whoever they want to sell to. So yeah, trust takes time. You can't buy it. You can break it in a heartbeat, but you can't buy it. So yeah, spend the time really getting to know them. Always reply and always ask questions, because that will get you that bit further. So always uncover the reason, always uncover the reason why you can help them, so that you're very, very clear about what you add, not what you do, not I'm a coach, because they don't care about that. But I'm a coach who helps my client double their revenue. Suddenly they go, oh, double the revenue? How do you do that? Then they want to talk to you. They don't care what your job title is. They care about what you achieve and the results that you get. So, if you reflect on the way that you articulate what you do and why you do it, make sure that when you reflect, you can pick out, yes, I do share the results that I achieve, because that's what your client, your ideal client, will be listening for. And if they don't hear it, they will go to someone else who maybe does demonstrate that they can help them achieve that particular thing. So just make sure that you're always talking about the results and the outcomes. And the other thing, the last thing there, is the call to action. Conversations are great. Building the relationship, nurturing the relationship is absolutely going to get you where you need to go. But if you don't have a call to action, then it's just a nice conversation. Well, nice conversations don't lead to 10K's worth of sales. Calls to action lead to 10K's worth of sales. So, the lead magnet to downloading it, to jumping on a call, or the DM to, hey, let's jump on a Zoom, the webinar to let's jump on a call. By the way, I'm not asking for discovery calls. But you get the point. If you do a webinar like this for your audience, then right at the end, I'm not about to say this to you, but you could be saying, if anybody would like to learn more about the results that I can achieve, let's have a chat, and you can convert discovery calls that way. So always have a call to action, okay? So on the subject of calls to action, I have a call to action to share with you, because what sort of trainer, what sort of coach, what sort of mentor would I be if I didn't practice what I preach? So I'm inviting you guys to work with me for free, for complete free. This program, when it sells, will be $597, but you can come on it for free. There's a couple of you on the call who are on it already, so I cannot wait to work with you. It's running for the whole of September. The reason I'm inviting you for free is because I need to know that I've built a program that really does everything that I'm promising that it does. So I will be looking for some feedback, but that's all I'm looking for, okay? But you get to work with me for free for the whole of September. And what that will look like is, in week 1, I will do a masterclass on mindset and money. In week 2, I will do a masterclass on marketing for attraction. And this will all be housed in an online learning platform. So you'll get to watch the video, you'll get to jump on a live call with me and ask questions. And there are prizes as well that you can win. I'll be giving away some prizes for like one-to-one strategy sessions and stuff like that. In week 3, we'll be doing methodology for converting clients. So really getting into how to convert a client from the first day you meet them to the day that they send you the money into your bank account that you want to see in the bank account. So I will be walking you through the methodology. And then week 4 is all about momentum and scaling your business to 6 figures and beyond, so that you can build that revenue that as a coach, as a consultant, you can build revenue, passive revenue that sits within your business behind you. You don't always have to sell time for money. You can build online programs, and by joining me on this program, you will get to see firsthand what that will look like, what that could look like for you in your business. Okay, so I'm gonna lead the way and do this first example, and you can come and work with me on it for free, see how it all works, and hopefully you'll give me amazing feedback, and I will bank that. Thank you very much. And I will work as hard as I need to work for you to get that feedback, because I need to know that this program is watertight and amazing, because I'm going to sell it for just shy of $600 next time. So if you guys would like to work with me in September, I will send out the video recording for this. So I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and then I'm going to send you guys a link. And when I do that, I will send you the link to sign up for this program. So I really hope to see some of you on it. I'm so excited. I've been building the content now for the last sort of 2 months. I'm so excited to get started. So yes, I will send you that. So that's my call to action today. And the final bit is to just say thank you ever so much for giving up an hour of your, well, an hour and 5 minutes of your time to join me. I hope it's been worthwhile. I hope it's been useful. If you'd like to stay in touch, I think a lot of you I'm already probably in touch with, but if we're not connected in any way, there's my contact details. And if any of you have got, 30 seconds left to give me any feedback tonight in the chat box, that would be amazing. I would love to know, so that I can relax into my glass of wine, knowing that you guys have enjoyed the session, that you've learned something, that you've got what I promised, which is a way to make 10K by Christmas. So yeah, I would love to get some feedback. Thank you, Judy. Oh, you've got capitals. That means it really did hit home. So that's good. Thank you. Thank you, Penny. I'd love to do the course. Yay! Fantastic. That would be marvelous. I'd love to see a lot of you guys on there. So yeah, thank you so much. Oh, we've got a question coming in. Thank you, Rachel. Very worthwhile. Big thanks. Oh, bless you. Oh, anonymous. Here we go. So I've got a question. Some of you might want to get the answer to this question. I'm new to coaching. In your opinion, what niche is more profitable? That's a good question. Being a personal financial coach or business coach for women who want to transform. Oh yeah, what is more profitable? Being a personal financial coach or business coach for women? Well, that would purely just be my opinion, which is obviously what you're asking for. So what would I say? I would say that you could make a success of being a personal financial coach or a business coach for women who are looking to transform. I would say that both are very, very profitable. The coaching for women thing, that's very, very, very popular, very crowded. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I haven't chosen male or female. What I have got is I've chosen company branding, company colors that appeal to men and to women. So you'll see a lot of branding that is like pale pink and very, very female. So yeah, that is a very crowded space. But I also know there's a lot of financial wealth coaches out there that are trying to work with people on a money mindset thing, so that, are you repelling money because maybe you don't believe in your value, maybe you don't fully buy into why somebody might want to, using Ben's number, might want to spend £3,000 with you. Maybe it's not that you don't know how to do it, maybe you're repelling it because your money mindset is not healthy and not not getting you in the right space. So great question. I would have to say, if you set those businesses up right, you could be very profitable on both of them. But obviously on Judy's point there, don't let profit drive it. Absolutely. First of all, you need to know that you can bring in the revenue. From a cost-based point of view, those businesses would cost the same probably to run. Coaching businesses, although I said at the beginning you can get into coaching with very, very low investment, when you actually look at some of the costs, they do add up. Like I've got webinar here, that costs me money. I've got email marketing, that costs me money. All the different platforms that I use, I've got a project management system, that costs money. So all of those little things that you need to use to enable your automation, to enable your marketing to work, that all costs money. So yes, it's not a free to start type business. To do it well, you do have to invest in some technology and maybe some people to help you run it. If you're not an expert in every app and every tool. I personally have gone out of my way to learn how all of the different marketing tools work. And if you start using a new tool, like recently I've started using MailerLite as an alternative to MailChimp, and I absolutely love it. It's better than MailChimp, hands down. But of course I didn't know how to use it. So I had to go on YouTube and learn and figure it out. And all the time you're learning, you don't want to be paying for it. So it takes time, to get good at those things. So yeah, thank you for that question. And I think you could make a really good go of both of them, if I'm honest. If you want to pick up directly, happy to chat in more detail. And, maybe if you want to pick up directly, I could give you some examples of different people that I follow that focus in both of those areas. And then you could have a little look at the way that they manage their social media and the type of engagement they get. So thank you so much, everybody. Really useful to get the numbers. Let me know the time commitment for the course. Oh yeah, the time commitment for the course. Good question, Rain. The masterclass each week is going to work on a Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. So there's already quite a lot of people that aren't in the UK on it. So I've gone for 7 o'clock in the evening. You will also, if you can't make the live masterclass at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, it will always be recorded and put into the Facebook group. So there will always be a recording if you miss it, and it will be uploaded into the learning platform. And I'm also, as part of this, going to do Thursday evenings, do like smaller masterminds where it won't be like me to a blank screen, because obviously I can't see any of you. It will be us in a Zoom room together so that we can see each other, masterminding each other's businesses. So we'll be getting really into the detail. So each week we have a topic. So like week 1 is money and mindset. So there's a money module and a mindset module. We'll do a masterclass on that on the Tuesday. And then on the Thursday, we'll get into like a mastermind and get really into the detail. And people can share for them if they want to, obviously, some of the things maybe that are getting in the way. And we can talk about blockers and how to overcome them, different ways of looking at things. So I've tried to do both things, a masterclass and a mastermind, so that I can learn what works best. So yes, I am going to be working hard in September, but from a time point of view, probably 2 hours a week maximum. Depends how hard you want to work on your homework and how motivating I am. Maybe you leave the masterclass going, oh my God, I've got so much stuff to do. So yeah, but 2 hours a week probably, Lorraine, maximum, I would say. But knowing you, you're a keen learner. You might want to spend a bit more because I know you. So unless there's any more questions, thank you so much for your feedback. Tammy said I was warm and knowing my stuff. Fantastic. Thank you. So yes, thank you ever so much. You guys have given up your evening for me. So thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and exit the call. And I will hopefully see you again soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.